For 6 hours only, New Year's Day, Room to Room has 3 incredible offers. Half off, no sales tax, and 60-month special financing. Plus prize giveaways every hour. For 6 hours only, Room to Room Tupelo, where we know there's no place like home.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger. A soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli. Appetizers and cocktails from The Grill. Or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Well, good evening and welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. It is New Year's Eve, and that is something my sister always did as we were counting down the days to Christmas and also New Year. So we are now 2 days away from 2026. So I want to give you the very latest as we get ready for the New Year's and everything that there is in store. So let's get right into the broadcast. We have another chilly night ahead. That's basically the cool temperatures that we're going to see tonight, but thankfully we're going to start seeing warmer temperatures, especially once we make it into the afternoons ahead. Those milder conditions returning to North Mississippi. We saw that plummet as that cold front moved through earlier this week, but thankfully those temperatures starting to kind of tick up slowly, getting closer towards seasonable temperatures as we get ready for 2026. So once you make it through that chilly morning ahead, we're going to start to see warmer conditions, but those beautiful conditions are going to continue, especially for your New Year's Eve forecast. We have a beautiful, dry, and clear forecast ahead. So any outdoor plans you have, all those fireworks, they are going to be good to go. We're going to stay dry and going to stay clear, not going to see many clouds up in the sky as we get 2026 ready to go. But the first 12, let's start with the temperatures. 27 degrees by 11 o'clock, seeing those clear conditions already. Could start to see some faint, wispy, thin clouds move on through, but pretty much going to be clear all night long. Dipping pretty much in the mid-20s overnight before already starting to warm back up, seeing 30 degrees by 8 o'clock, and then warming up and seeing almost upper 40s by 11. So already seeing those warmer conditions make their return here in North Mississippi. But let's take some live looks all across North Mississippi right now. This is out in Aberdeen, 32 degrees, feels like 29. So temperature and feels like values still not matching up quite as well, a little bit below than those temperatures, but that will start to change as we get ready for those afternoons ahead. You can see what's responsible, that wind still coming out of the northwest, but shift in that direction will change the forecast as we get into Wednesday, Thursday, and pretty much into the first week of January. But here's another look out there in Greenwood, 28 degrees already. Also feels like 28. There we go. No wind direction, not really impacting it. So you are sitting right there where your temperatures are reading outdoors as you continue into the evening ahead. But take another live look out here in Macon. You can definitely tell it's a clear night, seeing those stars all along the skyline. I was looking at this earlier. I was like, that's definitely got to be the North Star with how bright it is, but the camera's pointing southwest. So definitely not the North Star, but it's a bright one out there. 30 degrees out there, feels like 25. So still a chilly overnight period ahead. Going to be a chilly morning by the time we wake up early. A 5-mile-per-hour wind coming out of the northwest still influencing those conditions. But let's take a look at our Mississippi Live Weather Radar presented by Mama Justice. We are talking about dry conditions tonight, overnight, into your morning, and all throughout the day, New Year's Eve. So definitely a good thing to see here on our radar, not tracking out anything, not analyzing anything, and that is perfect news as we get ready for our celebrations tomorrow night. Thankfully, it's going to stay that way. And we can see kind of why that's responsible. We're not really having any weather makers anywhere near our area. This high pressure system out there on the tip of Texas is actually going to start influencing our weather and allow us to start feeling warmer because of that clockwise spin we were talking about. Starting to bring some of that moisture back and that wind coming out of the east or west, excuse me. That's going to start allowing us to feel those warmer temperatures, not bringing in that cooler continental air. So definitely some good news to see. But all that snow, all that wintry weather mix, that is still staying up north, pretty much blanketing all of Ohio into Indiana, Michigan, Pennsylvania. So definitely not anywhere near the southeast. We are staying dry and calm into the overnight period ahead. But that futurecast, let's talk about those clear, if not mostly clear conditions. Maybe some thin wispy clouds, just pretty much ice crystals moving on through our area. And that's about all we can track and look at. We're not really going to be able to see any colors pop up, which is a good thing. Just some clouds trying to move on through. But as you can tell, and this is in play right now, can't really tell. Just that wind moving on through North Mississippi. Also coming from a different direction, coming out of the southwest. And that's what's going to make those temperatures and feels like values match up almost perfectly tomorrow and not make us feel a lot cooler like how we have been the past few days. But the next 24, showing those dry and clear skies above, 27 degrees by 6 o'clock, warming up 10 degrees already, 37 by 9, low 50s by 12, mid 50s by 3. That's pretty much where we're topping out for our high, so definitely warmer tomorrow than where we have been the past few days. Then we're cooling off, already seeing mid 40s by 6 o'clock. But by 9 o'clock, where we're outside enjoying some parties outdoors for the New Year's Eve celebrations, 37 degrees. So still want to keep those layers handy. It's going to be another chilly night, but good news is we are still seeing clear skies, so that will definitely be a good thing to see for any fireworks that y'all have outdoors. So definitely going to be a grand end to 2025 and a grand start to 2026. And of course, I want to map out kind of what that looks like for you, your New Year's Eve into your New Year's Day. But also we have those bowl games coming up with Mississippi State, Alabama, and Ole Miss all occurring within January 1st and 2nd. So we're going to give you the latest forecast on that and everything you need to know as you're heading into 2026. All that's coming up after the break.
At First Choice Bank, we know you can't always make it before the bank closes. With our integrated teller, you can talk to a live person as late as 7 p.m. on weekdays and noon on Saturdays. It's not just an ATM, it's an ITM. First Choice Bank, your choice for banking.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's meteorologist Caleb Edelblut.
Well, welcome back to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. Let's take a look at those current conditions out here in Tupelo. 32 degrees, so definitely still cool, cold conditions overnight. We're talking about these warmer conditions returning, but especially when that sun sets and we are in those nighttime hours, not really going to feel pretty warm. It's feeling like 32, and that's because not really seeing much of a wind direction or any wind speeds reading out there. So definitely calm as we continue into the overnight hours. But I want to also put in this temperature change just to show you still nowhere near as drastic as we saw that plummet with that cold front, but showing that we're starting to warm up just a little bit. We're definitely going to see those values start to move up more and more, especially into Wednesday, Thursday, and into the next weekend. So just wanted to include that, show that warm-up process already occurring just a little bit. And for those that don't like the brisk cold, that's a good sight to see as we get ready for a little bit of warmer and more seasonable temperatures return. But Futurecast still showing those mostly clear conditions all across North Mississippi. Just thin wispy clouds kind of moving on out of our area. But by 1 o'clock and on, we're seeing those dry and clear skies. We're staying dry all night long and into your New Year's Eve. This is Wednesday at 6 a.m. So it's going to be hard to tell that these are in play throughout the broadcast, but I promise it's just we're not tracking out anything. But here we go. Let's take a look at those brisk mornings that we still have ahead, especially Wednesday. Pretty much mid-20s all across North Mississippi, 26 in Amory, Tupelo, Houston, Bruce, Eupora, Grenada, 28 in Senatobia, 26 Tunica, 30 Cleveland, and Greenville. So definitely still a chilly morning. Want to keep those layers ready, not only at the start of your day, but definitely towards the end as we are outside getting ready for 2026. But also want to include this future wind chill. Noticing it's not much of a difference. So that wind starting to die on off after that cold front moved on through, and we're going to start to see those feels like values match up a little bit better as we continue into our day, and it's going to improve more and more throughout most of your hours Wednesday, but definitely into Thursday as well. So just including that it's not going to be as drastic as we start off with our Wednesday and into 2026. But here we go with that no school day forecast. Going to be another chilly day at the start, waking up around 28 degrees, but we're warming up, seeing upper 40s by lunchtime and then seeing mid 50s later on in the afternoon. So definitely could convince the kids to go outside and have a little fun. Still want to layer them up just a little bit with it still being December here in North Mississippi, but definitely more mild conditions finally making their return as well. But here we go with Futurecast, kind of still showing those dry and clear conditions throughout Wednesday morning. I'm going to let this play on out towards lunchtime. Still not tracking out anything. This is at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Just that wind direction kind of coming out of the southwest, and that's what's allowing us to feel a lot better outdoors why those temperatures and feels like values are going to match. You're going to see that in just a second. But yeah, that was in play. That just tracked out all of your Wednesday up until 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Let's take a look at those highs. Pretty much mid-50s all across North Mississippi. 54 in Amory, Houston, Eupora, Starkville, and Louisville. 52 Oxford and Senatobia. 51 South Haven. 54 Clarksdale and Cleveland. But let's take a look. I'm going to move out of the way so you can kind of see everybody here with those high temperatures. Let's take a look at those feels like values. Not really dropping much. A few of us actually went up just a little bit. So that wind direction really starting to help us out, not feel super brisk and chilly as we go about our day. So those milder conditions already making their return as we get ready for 2026. So before we track out your evening, let's take a look at that New Year's Eve forecast for those temperatures before we see those dry and clear conditions. 46 degrees by 6 o'clock, and here we go. Still need those layers as you go about your evening hours. 37 by 9 o'clock, and then by the time the clock strikes 12, we're talking about temperatures in the mid-30s, so still going to want to layer up. Want to make sure you are protected from the cold. Going to be a little bit chilly, but definitely beautiful conditions. And notice, it's going to be dry and clear all night long. So those fireworks, good to go. I know I always loved watching fireworks, so tonight will be an excellent night to do so. Futurecast is going to show exactly that. Dry and clear conditions starting around 6 o'clock tomorrow evening and pretty much into your overnight hours. I timed this up right on midnight. We can kind of see where we wanted to stop it, and pretty much right when the ball drops, a cold front is making its way into North Mississippi, ironically enough. But this cold front not really going to do anything. Try to keep our temperatures right about where they're at because we're going from just the mid to low 50s to mid 50s tomorrow. So definitely warming up just a little bit, but not bringing any cooler temperatures or rainy conditions as well. This is now Thursday morning, but that wind direction still coming out of the southwest, allowing us to kind of warm on up throughout our day, and that cloud cover moving on in. And this is where I don't agree with the model. So if you tuned into the 6 o'clock broadcast, me and Matt Laubon were talking about those rain chances Friday and how we're not really too confident on them right now. That cold front we pretty much experienced earlier this week plummeted our saturation. We are very dry right now. That's why we don't see any clouds in the sky pretty much today into tomorrow. So that saturation trying to build back into the forecast. These models kind of over projecting it, but this is going to be something that we're going to continue to track on out with those rain chances. But Friday is looking like the best day that we could see some, but definitely going to be very isolated, very minimal, and nothing impactful as you go about your day. So definitely something that we're going to keep our eyes on. But let's take a look at those high temperatures Thursday. Could not tell that a cold front is making its way through. We're getting even warmer, pretty much upper 50s across North Mississippi, even talking about low 60s. 60 out here in Tupelo, 61 in Amory and Columbus, Starkville and Eupora, 59 Oxford, 58 South Haven, Senatobia and Tunica, 60 out there in Cleveland. I'll take a look, or take a step back, take a look at those feels like values. Still pretty much the exact same. We're starting to match again and not plummet from those actual temperatures outdoors to what we're feeling. So that wind not having an impact on us anymore. We're going to feel just like how those temperatures are reading outdoors. But let's take a look at those football forecasts for our SEC teams. They've all made a spot, not in the playoffs, but definitely bowl games. The big one, Alabama versus Indiana, taking on the 1 seed, going to be an excellent game, but also pretty much the most intense game we have weather-wise for our forecast. 80% chance of rain right now by the first play, and decreasing slowly, but still going to be a rainy forecast as of right now. 60% by halftime as you're still in the low 60s, and then cooling off very slowly, 59 out there by the final snap out in Pasadena. So definitely going to be rainy conditions, not going to be a closed stadium, so could have an impact on the game. Would be curious to see how that goes with the throwing game, or if it's just going to be one of those kind of run the ball, hit people, truck them, and it's going to be one of those old-fashioned football games. So definitely going to be rooting on the Crimson Tide as they take on Indiana. Should be a good game out there, but still seeing those rainy and potentially stormy conditions as well. But Mississippi State taking on Wake Forest, January 2nd, I believe. First play, 46 degrees and cloudy overcast skies, and pretty much sitting in the mid-50s. Not really much changes between the first play and the final snap, so probably the most beautiful conditions out there in Charlotte, North Carolina, as the Bulldogs snuck their way into a bowl game. So wishing them the best of luck in the postseason. But here we go. Ole Miss facing off Georgia in the Sugar Bowl down in New Orleans. I'd honestly say this is a better forecast than Mississippi State just because it's a little bit warmer. I like those warmer temperatures. 62 by the first play, cooling off towards the upper 50s by halftime. Then you're walking out of the stadium around 55 degrees. But good thing is it's an indoor stadium. It's closed, got the dome. So if there was any weather occurring, not really going to impact y'all. But there's someone else that knows a lot more about this game than me. I can give you that weather forecast, but our Will Kohlmeyer has the very latest on some inside details. Take a look at what he has to say.
Welcome to Cole Myers Corner. We're hanging out in Oxford this week on the Ole Miss campus, previewing this Thursday night Sugar Bowl battle between Ole Miss and Georgia, the 3-seed Bulldogs battling the 6-seed Rebels. Of course, Ole Miss continues to be one of the big stories in college football. In fact, they're also showing they're one of the hottest acts in these college football playoffs, as once again the Sugar Bowl is the most expensive get-in ticket of any of the 4 quarterfinal playoff matchups this week. Now, Ole Miss 9-0 this year at home inside Vaught-Hemingway Stadium, and that includes the trouncing of Tulane 2 Saturdays ago, and what a special night that was for Ole Miss fans. Kudos to Keith Carter and company as they put on quite a show. Pete Golding and the Rebels put on a show on the field, but the rest, the atmosphere, all the technology and the special effects, it was really something special that Ole Miss fans that made it here to Vaught-Hemingway Stadium will never forget. Now, you know how much I like these nuggets, these little bits of information that I provide for you all season long when I come to preview, whether it's the high school football matchups or the college football face-offs, and that includes this little nugget. This is just the 4th time ever that an SEC team has took on another SEC team in the Sugar Bowl, and guess what? The Ole Miss Rebels have been involved in all 4 of these. That includes 3 of them way back in the day. They lost to Georgia Tech, and yes, I know Georgia Tech, well, they're not a part of the SEC. Well, they were back in the day, and Ole Miss lost to Georgia Tech, and they also lost to Bama in the Sugar Bowl. They did get that shutout win that I know some of you remember against LSU, but that was way back in time. And of course, we fast forward to this Thursday night's matchup. Georgia and Ole Miss. Georgia probably playing the best, or at least one of the best teams playing college football these days, and they sure impressed me. And I know they impressed a lot of you with what they did to Alabama in the SEC championship game. Now, once again, I'll be, just like I was leading up to the matchup against Tulane, I'll be here on the Ole Miss campus this week with continuing previews and fun facts with this week's game between the Rebels and the Bulldogs. But for now, that's the story here in Oxford. We'll send it back to you in the studio.
Well, another big thanks for Will for giving us those inside details and also those inside little nuggets. I always love hearing those facts that you have for us. Excited to hear what you have for the rest of the week ahead. But also wanted to check the comments real quick as I was letting that play on out. Looks like we're all very excited for some football action. I know I am too. And then Brenda, no need to apologize. Wanted to make sure we got that question answered for y'all. My apologies that I didn't see it until we wrapped up that broadcast. I don't think I was able to see you in there when I explained it on the next one. So I'm glad me and Chief Meteorologist Matt Laubon were able to explain it to y'all. So y'all make sure to ask any questions. We'd love to explain anything that y'all want to ask weather-wise to y'all. It's what's kind of fun about having this be an interactive process. But let's take a look at that 7-day forecast before we wrap up this one. 53 degrees for your highs tomorrow with those sunny and clear skies above, a perfect New Year's Eve forecast. Definitely excited to see all the celebrations. Y'all send in some pictures to the app. We would love to see what y'all are doing and celebrating, getting ready for 2026. And then Thursday and on, we kind of see a change in the weather pattern, and that's not only because we're getting a little bit warmer, but that saturation trying to come back into our atmosphere. Starting to see that cloud cover, partly cloudy by Thursday, mostly cloudy by Friday, just because still not confident on those rain chances. Got a lot of work to do. Those rain chances still fighting an uphill battle. Only at 20% by now, but still upper 50s for your highs. And then we're pretty much coasting there, upper 50s for the next few days into the dry weekend ahead and into your Monday and Tuesday. Starting to see those low 60s come back into the forecast as well. But before we wrap it up, yep, you're always making sure that I check the comments. I want to make sure I don't miss anything because I love interacting with y'all and answering any questions. But it looks like we are all very excited for New Year's Eve tomorrow. Definitely excited for some football. So I appreciate all of y'all tuning in. Of course, you want to continue to stay updated with us. We'll be live later on tomorrow in the morning hours. But of course, here's the QR code for both the iOS and Android app. We appreciate all the support you've given us and the feedback on that app as well. We want to make sure to keep improving it, and I can't wait to see where it goes in 2026. But of course, we'll be live tomorrow morning at 6:30, 7, and 7:30 with our morning meteorologist, Maggie McCauley, as she is talking about those chilly mornings as y'all walk out of the door, and we'll make sure y'all are ready for any New Year's Eve plans y'all have with some more model runs coming out overnight. And of course, we'll be back here in the Room to Room Weather Center tomorrow at 5, 6, and 10. Pretty much enjoying the New Year's Eve day with y'all and giving y'all the latest as we get closer and closer towards midnight. So definitely going to be a fun day tomorrow. Looking forward to hanging out with y'all and experiencing New Year's Eve with you guys. So cannot wait. Y'all go out, enjoy the rest of y'all's Tuesday, get some rest for our Wednesday, and I'll see y'all back here in the Room to Room Weather Center.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy